We are carrying the weight of the world. We are breaking down the walls of Jericho. We are breaking down generational curses in our lives and for the generation to come. Some of our breakthroughs are exhausting and overwhelming that we need to draw strength from God through prayer and isolation. We get weary, we get tired and worn out sometimes. It's okay to shut down and rest. Christ is always aware and well expectant of God's plan and move in our lives. In order for a breakthrough to take place, we need to go through the process of breaking down the generational curses, boundaries, and cycles. Our message for today is find your solitary. Isolate, shut down, and reset. Or rather, isolate, update, shut down, or reset. These are the most common words that we are familiar with, especially in the technology world. In Matthew chapter 14 verse 23, I would like to share with you. After he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone. And in Matthew chapter 14 verse 13, it says, I'll read the second sentence. He withdrew by the boat privately to a solitary place. The buzz of the world can be an overwhelming feeling of anxiety, depression, stress, lack of peace, causing a whole lot of health issues. Our responsibility can be or can lead to ignoring our need to isolate. This was like the second nature to Christ. You cannot pour from an empty glass. You are no good to yourself if you are dysfunctioning. You are no good to anyone. You need time out. You need to shut down. Even the world's convenient methods of communication needs to shut down. We need to update it. We need to reset it. The other day I had a problem with my phone where some of my apps were not working properly. It is up until later on in a few days that I have realized that I haven't updated my apps in a very long time. So I had to run a system update so that I can access some of the apps on my phone. Recently, we keep hearing the news circulating that WhatsApp, yes, our very own WhatsApp, will not be accessible on some of the phones that we have, which is the old versions or the old phones that has the old server, because it is now being updated on the latest version, and now it cannot be recognized on the old versions of some of the phones. Tricky, ne? The same goes for our relationship with God. It's the same mentality, it's the same mandate with our relationship with God. Some of us are not experiencing the full move of God because we are still functioning on an outdated version. Our calling or our walk with Christ. The system or the server is not functioning properly. We're not spending time in prayer. We're not healing the sick. Our feet are not bringing good news to the people. Our feet are not bringing healing to the brokenhearted, simply because we are not fully updated on what God is doing at the moment. I am doing a new thing. We find this in the book of Isaiah. I am doing a new thing. You will miss it if the server is not updated. There's one sentence from the whole verse. You will miss it if your server is not updated. God's word stays the same, but his methods are always relevant. God is a God of a Kairos time, the now. If you're not careful, you will miss it, as it requires your spirit, your faith, and your belief to be of now, to be of a later version. When I looked up the word Kairos, we are most familiar with it. It has quite a few meanings that are very interesting. On some version it says it's the right, which is the right now. Another one, it would say critical, opportune time or moment, or crucial time, decisive moment. Now this is what we need in our lives and in our walk with Christ, a decisive moment, that we need to take time out to pray and spend time with God. If you realize from the book of Matthew chapter 14, after Christ had spent that time in prayer, a lot happened. But what I like about what happened is the after effects of him spending time alone. It's the fact that he expected God's greater work after isolation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is quite important that we take time out. It is quite important that at times we shut down, we isolate from the buzz of the world, from our lives, and spend time with God, so that we can update our version of Christianity, our version of beliefs, our version of prayer, our version of faith, so that we are in the full move of Christ and we are in the later stage, which is the now. Be blessed, stay blessed, and remember this: you can heal. You can heal, and as we walk through this journey, we will learn and teach each other. We will deal with the pain and we will deal with the hurt, and we can overcome it. Spend time with God, spend time in prayer, isolate at times, and see the rewards of that. Stay blessed.